Welcome, everybody, to episode 30. We've made it into the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is almost as old as I am. Almost. Episode
it's older
30.
than I am now.
Yeah, it's been older than you are for
An episode. Not even.
One episode.
We're just starting that
episode. just barely getting older than DMurph. I am Murpho. He is DMurph. As I just said, we are the Super Grapple Bros. This is a podcast about two brothers who are former WWE employees that like to talk about wrestling and video games.
And there's a lot of that to talk
Yeah,
about.
we have got a lot of stuff going on today. We're going to try and power through it as quickly as we can this week because we have got predictions galore. We have War Games predictions. We have Survivor Series predictions. Then in video games, the Game Awards got announced. Nominees got announced there, so we could probably put our insights into who we think are going to win those.
Or
Let's run those down.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the other big video game news is the whole fiasco surrounding Battlefront 2 and its microtransaction system, which went through so many twists and turns in the 7 days since we last podcasted.
Yeah.
Like, we podcasted last before the Reddit comment even hit.
Yeah.
And everything. So there's a lot to cover on that. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into things. We're going to start off by doing predictions for War Games. And
Well, I thought we should have a brief moment of silence for the career of Mr. James Ellsworth.
he's not dead. He's not done wrestling in general.
His WWE career.
Okay.
All right, now that that's over.
Yep. So yeah, James Ellsworth in news. He got his release yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Or was it?
I think it was the day before.
Okay, so Wednesday.
Yeah, which I'm very upset about because you could have at least thrown him on 205 Live. I mean,
yeah, he was a good hand.
They could use more people.
He was a good hand. He was entertaining. He didn't really have. He had a unique physique. I'll say that much, and he was okay in the ring. So like, I don't really know like why they let him go, but I mean, I think from the beginning he was originally. He was originally supposed to be a jobber for Braun Strowman for 1 week, but he was so entertaining and had such a unique look that they brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up turning what was supposed to be like, hey, here's your $200 for getting destroyed by Braun Strowman in 5 seconds into a year-long contract with the WWE, which saw him get his own merch and, I'm sure got himself some decent money. And he'll be in demand on the indies now. So, like, that did wonders for his career. So, good for him.
Yeah.
We wish James Ellsworth the best going forward. Wish he could have, like, maybe stuck around on 205 Live. Like, the whole thing with Carmella was getting a little stale, but, like, would have been nice to see him like as in an undercard situation. Maybe somebody like this era's this era's Crash Holly,
Spike Dudley, Gilbert.
I wouldn't say Gilbert because Gilbert was way more of a joke than James Ellsworth, but along those lines, it would have been nice. But we got a 10-bit cheer from 77402. I haven't seen you in a while, man. So thanks, dude. Thank you for coming in and doing that. I totally forgot to bring this up. I haven't seen him in a while. I forgot to bring up the Twitch chat and the notification alerts, so I'm just doing that right now. Okay, so
hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so that was it for James Ellsworth. Yep. It was good for him.
Let's get on to it.
Yes, we're getting on to the War Games card, which is going to be interesting because I will own up to this. I've been slacking on NXT. I've not had a chance to watch any NXT really since Brooklyn 3. So I am going to be in the dark here trying to defend my championship. I'm going to be at a disadvantage.
I don't know about that,
but we'll see
how we go. A lot
of
these things I feel like are pretty predictable, but
trying to get back into Twitch a lot. 772402. I gotta say his full. I know you gave me your full name before, but I completely I've forgotten it because it was like 6 months ago. So I'm sorry. I'm just listing off the number of your username, but I'm glad that you're back on Twitch, and I'm glad that you're back watching me. I'm still trying to do more gameplay stuff on the Twitch channel, but like it just doesn't work out. I'm hoping I can change that around.
I'm sure you will understand this. I've been starting this week. My video game and wrestling stuff has just been like
Yeah, well, you've been planning a joint birthday party for 2 of your kids,
Well,
so.
not only that, but this Tuesday I did get Brandon Sanderson's new book in the mail, and it is Oathbringer, and it's like 1,200 pages.
Which is funny because I actually have this. I got this little card from New York Comic Con that I intended to give you, which was like a preview of a few chapters. It was the first 20 chapters of the book.
20. Yeah.
And I was going to give this to you, and I just kept forgetting to give it to you, and now the book's out, so now I can grab those for nothing. Before we get into the War Games question, do you want to answer his question?
Sure. If I had to get anybody's custom plates for my WWE Championship, what would it be? That's a tough one.
D-Bry.
I
D-Bry has the custom plates. Or AJ Styles, maybe. The P1 is a pretty sick logo.
Basically, everyone does get it. But yeah, I was going to say, I've been
You want
maybe
Gingers.
AJ. Ha.
You want Gingers. That's
maybe
question answered.
Maybe Bork Lasers.
Bork Lasers.
Or KOs. Or Finn Balor's for the one day he had it.
Yeah, or maybe Seth Rollins.
but,
no, wait. Seth Rollins hasn't had the Universal Champ.
He had
the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
I think I would probably go with AJ, though.
Yeah, I think it would be AJ or D-Bry for me. Okay, so War Games. Things are kicking off with an ab-off between Shawn Michaels, our special guest of the show, and Johnny Gargano.
I could do a keg off, but I mean,
yeah, keg off would be fun.
Yeah.
Could you do keg stands?
I could try. I fail, but I could try.
Just keg ups, just pushing your stomach in and out. I'm
Basically.
exercising.
I swear. Pass the food.
So I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah.
I mean, Shawn Michaels is in good shape. If this is realistic, technically Johnny Gargano should win, but I don't know. But like, is this one of those fans react thing? Because then the question is, who would the crowd? This is an NXT crowd. Go crazier for Shawn Michaels or Johnny Gargano?
I'm gonna say I'm guessing it'll probably be a crowd thing, and I think I know who. If it is a crowd thing, I'm pretty sure I know who's gonna win that.
I'm gonna go with Johnny Gargano just because he's so over with the NXT crowd.
I'm gonna go with Shawn Michaels just because he's so over with literally all the crowds.
Yeah.
Like, I love Johnny Gargano, but it's also gonna be around people who are there for Survivor Series, and people haven't seen Shawn Michaels in a while, and they're gonna lose their shit for him.
Yeah. Before we move on, 7724402 mentioned that his favorite custom plates are the Dean Ambrose ones, which is actually a good thing to ask. Like, if you guys have any favorite custom plates for the WWE Championship, let us know.
Yeah.
Comments, emails, whatnot.
Yeah.
And he is also with Shawn Michaels on the
Good
ab-off. Then we've got Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan.
Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Lars Sullivan, so I'm just going to go with Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, because I love Cassius. He's really good. But the entire thing of Lars Sullivan, if you have not seen him,
I'm not.
He is just a gigantic man. And, like, they had a story going for a little while where it was him being teamed up with random people in tag teams and then losing.
Oh,
at the
that's
end.
that guy. Oh,
Yeah,
crap.
and
Can I change my prediction?
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lars Sullivan because there's no way. The way that. Now that I know who we're talking about and I've seen him, and if he's pushed, like, Cassius Ohno is going to be the sacrificial lamb for that one, then.
I'm not entirely sure about that. That's why I'm saying this is a tough one for me. Because Cassius has been on a bit of a rise and stuff, but, I mean, Lars Sullivan is just a monster. So, to be different, and because I think you might win, I'm going to go with Cassius.
Okay.
But Lars Sullivan, man, goddamn.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to call. I think it's gonna be Lars because normally you always have the monster win until he hits the main event scene or close to it. But like you said, like, why do they bring back Cassius Ohno if he's just gonna be, a Andrade Cien Almas person?
But I mean, one other thing I'll point out is Lars Sullivan has been bigger than all of his opponents. I'm pretty sure Cassius is taller than Lars Sullivan.
Taller, but not bigger.
True.
And by the way, hi to Touch Tones, who is in the Twitch chat. Next match we have is Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream. I don't see any way in which Patrick Clark delivers Aleister Black his first defeat.
I mean,
it might be a good match. He might actually come close to winning. Maybe they'll tease him to make him look strong and good and try to build him, but there's no way he's winning that match.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing, like, I never really liked Velveteen Dream as a gimmick, and it's getting better, and he's got a hell of an elbow drop for a finisher, but I'm still gonna go with Aleister Black. In which one thing I will point out, leading into the next match to predict, Patrick Clark has one hell of an elbow drop, but he's still got nothing on Kairi Sane's elbow drop.
And speaking of, Kairi Sane is in the next match, is the NXT Women's Title 4-way match, which is Peyton Royce versus Kairi Sane versus Nikki Cross versus Ember Moon. I'm going to go with Kairi Sane.
Okay.
Because you had her come through and win the Mae Young Classic, and you had Ember Moon lose to Asuka. So I feel like Kairi is the one who would win. I don't think Peyton's going to win unless some kind of tomfoolery with Billie Kay comes in. Like, I would say Kairi's my number 1 pick, with Nikki Cross being my number 2.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who, but I love Kairi Sane, and I think she should win. I don't know if she will. I'm thinking it might be either Nikki or Ember, and I think with the way some things are going, I think I'm going to go with Nikki, with the hopes that Ember will go up to the main roster soon after this. Like, maybe be on Survivor Series. I doubt it, but...
That's true. Maybe she would be the mystery
because, I mean,
person.
They are starting to get an influx of women's wrestlers from the Mae Young Classic into NXT now. Like, they've got Kairi Sane. They've got Shayna Baszler. They've got Dakota Kai. They've got Bianca Belair. And by the way, quick little side note, rumor has it, Ronda Rousey is training at the Performance Center.
Oh boy. Well, I'm pretty sure it's obvious that she's going to be at WrestleMania wrestling Charlotte.
I'm glad that they're doing that she's training there and everything.
Then after that, we have the NXT Championship match of Andrade Cien Almas versus Drew McIntyre. Drew. Good on, I will say this, good on Cien, on Andrade, for going from being basically like the jobber to the main event stars to being able to like get repackaged and be able to get a main event push.
I mean, the one thing I have to say is he's not really been a jobber. Like, the way I've always viewed Andrade is I've always liked him, but for the first several months of him being in NXT, literally every person they put him up against, it was a great match, and he happened to put up against a person that people happened to like.
That's why I didn't say he was a jobber, period.
Yeah.
He was a jobber to the main event guys, in which he did the job for them in order for them to move up to the next stage.
Yeah. I mean,
he wasn't like, he's not a jobber in the sense of where like, oh, here's Andrade Cien Almas, he's gonna face he's gonna face Hideo Itami, and there's a GTS out of nowhere 1, 2, 3 match over.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm saying like he didn't always lose the matches too. He lost a lot of them, but not all of them. But I love Almas. He's great. He's doing amazing.
That said,
I want him to win so bad.
That said, Drew McIntyre's winning because I feel like they're gonna do Drew McIntyre versus. I think that Drew McIntyre versus Adam Cole is their next big money match for Takeover, which is probably gonna happen at the Takeover before WrestleMania.
Yeah, or if they do one before Royal Rumble. But, I'm going to agree McIntyre's probably going to win. Okay.
Then we've got the big old War Games match. For those of you who don't know, War Games is a match where 2 rings are encased in a Hell in a Cell-like cage structure as they are right next to one another. And people battle one another and have to eliminate members from the other team. And you get eliminated when when everybody from that team is pinned. Why are you looking at me like that's wrong?
Because I think they're doing it a little different.
Are they doing it to where if anybody's pinned, the whole team is out?
Well, the way it's starting off is with not everyone in the ring. Where the way it's going is they're starting off with just one member of each team in the ring. And then after, I think it's 5 minutes, they're going
they're mixing like War Games and Elimination Chamber?
After like 5 minutes or something like that, they're going to let the other 2 members of a team into the ring. Then after 2 minutes, another 2 members of another team, and then after another 2 minutes after that, the final 2 members of the final team, and then they do a fall after that to decide it, I think.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But interesting.
It should be interesting as hell, yeah.
Anyway, the competitors in that match is Sanity, which is Eric Young,
Alexander Wolf,
and Killian Dane, versus Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole, baby, alongside Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Then we've got the Authors of Pain versus Roddy Strong.
You mean with Roddy Strong?
With Roddy
They're
Strong.
not versing Roddy Strong.
No, I said versus AOP and Roddy Strong.
No, you said with Authors of Pain versus Roddy Strong.
Oh, I thought I said versus Authors of Pain with and Roddy Strong.
No, you said
whatever. Anyway,
yeah.
I know Sanity's a tag champs. They're getting a good push, but I think you want to build Undisputed Era since they came in super hot, and you want that Adam Cole Drew McIntyre title match. So I think Undisputed Era is winning this one.
I think they're winning it too, because you're not only setting up for Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre, you're also setting up for Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly versus Sanity.
The only way I see this not going Undisputed Era's way is if Authors of Pain and Roddy Strong win, because then that continues the Roderick Strong versus Undisputed Era rivalry. So that way those two can battle each other until Royal Rumble. Then you have Roddy Strong lose that match, like a one-on-one match between Roddy Strong and Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole goes on to challenge Drew McIntyre. It's the only way I see Undisputed Era not winning that match.
Undisputed Era is definitely winning, though.
All right. So that's going to do it for the War Games predictions. Just to wrap it up, I have Johnny Gargano in the ab off. You have Shawn Michaels. God, the fact that we're predicting that and that's a thing that's happening in 2017 is just hilarious. You have Cassius Ohno. I have Lars Sullivan in their matchup. We both have Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream. I have Kairi Sane in the women's title match 4-way. You have Nikki Cross. We both have Drew McIntyre. And we both have Undisputed Era. Now, before we move on to Survivor Series, I just want to say that just restate the rules for how our predictions go. Basically, the way that these predictions are going is I am the predictions champ, longest reigning, #and still. And the champion, when we do predictions, gets to pick first, has to pick first. So that way the challenger, the non-champion, gets the chance to actually make different predictions in an attempt to actually win the championship. Otherwise, the champion could be lame and just say, oh, you pick this, I pick everything that you pick. And why is that? Because champion's advantage is our tiebreaker. So if we have a tie at the end of all the predictions, which we've done for, I think, the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views.
I'm pretty sure there's only been 2 where we haven't tied.
Yeah, then the champion retains.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure since the beginning, we've, the first, 1 or 2 pay-per-views, we tied. Then there's been 2 times where I won once and then you won once and something like that, and it's just been constant.
We're just equally good, equally good. And before we move on to Survivor Series, I just want to say I just want to touch on what's going on in the Twitch chat. 772402 says, I want to know when Big Cass is coming back from injury, because I love watching Enzo Amore try to be tough and getting his ass handed to him. Well, Enzo's in 205 Live right now, so I don't think they're ever going to cross paths again, but
at least not
Big Cass, I think he's out for a little while still, right? He hurt? Was it his knee that he hurt?
Yeah, he injured his knee in his match with the Big Show at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think he's still got a couple months away. I can't remember the extent of the injury, but I would think with that kind of injury, based on the timing, I would say sometime between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
Yeah, he might show up at Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be an interesting thing if, maybe Enzo is number 1 and he's running his mouth as a Cruiserweight champion, and number 2 is Big Cass.
Yeah, I'm having pretty firm idea as to who I think number 1 in the Royal Rumble is going to be this year.
Swagskay?
What?
Swagskay?
No.
No? All right. And then before we move on, Honey Badger 71998, or I'll just say Honey Badger, said hello, so hello. And anyone seen Justice League today? I have not seen Justice League.
I'm probably not gonna watch Justice League.
I don't know. I'm unsure. I'm on the fence about whether I want to see it in theaters.
If I'm gonna watch anything comic related today, it's not gonna be Justice League. It's gonna be the Punisher Netflix series, which came out today.
I still have to watch the Defenders, so until I watch the Defenders, I can't watch Punisher. I'm trying to watch. I'm also trying to watch Stranger Things too. Stranger Things 1 is so good. But yeah, Justice League I may or may not see, because I've heard it's better than BVS, and it's it feels like it's that transitioning, it's that pivot or transition film away from Snyderness, and not as good as Wonder Woman, but
thank you, Joss Whedon.
So I might go see it. If I don't see it in theaters, I'm definitely gonna catch it when it goes on Netflix or Blu-ray or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just kind of dropping off after this movie, though, so I don't know if it's worth it.
everyone is dropping off? What do you mean?
Ben Affleck just yesterday announced that after this movie, he has no intentions of playing the role of Batman anymore.
Really?
Yep.
He officially announced that yesterday.
Yeah, he said that yesterday, that he has no interest in doing the role of Batman anymore.
That sucks because he was a good Batman.
And
just stuck in terrible, awful movies.
Yep. I don't know if you heard about what happened with God, why am I blanking on her name?
Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot.
No, well, Gal Gadot is what's involved in this, but actress, she was in Juno. She played Shadowcat in X-Men.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Ellen
Page.
Page.
Yes, Ellen Page. She came out with a thing recently about how Bryan Singer sexually harassed her on set of that movie when she was 18. Like, did a whole post about it, so everyone knows that, you know, Bryan Singer does that kind of stuff. And apparently he's one of the heads of one of the production companies that works with most of Warner Brothers films.
You mean Brett Ratner?
Brett Ratner, yeah, sorry.
And it's okay because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but Gal Gadot announced yesterday or Wednesday that Ratner is no longer involved in the making of Wonder Woman 2.
Okay, because she had said that she gave an ultimatum to Warner Brothers saying, like, unless you purchase the company and get rid of him, I'm not doing Wonder Woman 2.
Or find another company to work
something
it.
like that.
And so he's been removed from.
Good. Okay.
As far as I know, he's been removed from Wonder Woman 2, and Gal Gadot is still going to be playing that.
Good.
So
because I like Wonder Woman, but
yes,
anyway, we're getting distracted.
Yeah, we're getting distracted. Comic book film, superhero movie tangent there. Let's get back to the wrestling. Survivor Series predictions time. We're kicking things off with the kickoff match. Cruiserweight Championship, Enzo Amore versus Kalisto. I would like to see Kalisto win, but Enzo Amore has been so hot and such like a injection of life into 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division. I feel like they're not going to take the championship off of him for a while, so I'm going to go with Enzo.
At least until they get some surprising new person on 205 Live.
Yeah. Like Neville comes back or something. Which we gotta talk about. Maybe now is the appropriate time, but apparently WWE and Neville have been talking through the issues going on with Neville, and it's believed that he may come back.
Yeah,
very
as this
soon.
week.
Yeah, he may be back. Maybe he'll interfere in the Cruiserweight title match and Kalisto will win, or maybe he will be back on 205 Live or Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
But it's believed that like they have that WWE has decided to talk things out with him and make sure that he's happy. And that's a smart move, to be honest, because after the year he's had, no matter whether you let him bleed out his contract or not, the second he hits the indies, he's a hot commodity. And I think you can't now, especially given what Jericho did, I don't think you can afford to have Neville go to the indies after what Jericho did too.
Not only that, but also think about it. Think about how hot Neville has been and how he has made 205 Live what it is, and people have been tuning into stuff to see Neville and love Neville. You're going to take that guy who's been putting butts in seats and selling shirts and all that, and you're not going to try and still use him?
Yeah.
That's money left. That's just money lying around.
Anyway, I'm going with Enzo Amore for the Cruiserweight Championship.
As am I.
And as are you. Then we've got our first champion versus champion match of The Miz versus Baron Corbin. And I think I'm going to go with Baron Corbin here.
Okay.
Because I think the way that this whole... Normally, most times when they do Raw versus SmackDown, they try to do 50-50 booking with it. Mm-hmm. At least until the last match. And looking at everything down the line, I feel like this is one that Raw... If Raw is going to lose, Raw would lose. Mm-hmm. Or... Let me see. I'm trying to look over everything.
Yeah, I'm double checking too. Because I think I know who's going to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I definitely know who I'm going to pick for 5 of the matches.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know who I'm picking. Because I think I know who's winning the day.
I think it's going to be... There's 8 matches... and I think it's going to end up 4-4. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Baron Corbin because I think SmackDown's going to take this one. I think it's going to end up being 4-4 down the line with Raw getting the last straw or whatever.
I'm going to pick The Miz.
Okay.
because Miz is much hotter than Corbin, and he's also got the Miz Taraj and everything.
Miz is hotter, but they're also trying to build up Corbin, and Corbin is physically a more of a beast competitor, and I feel like I can see the Miz taking this loss, and he can afford the loss more than Baron Corbin can.
I feel like they could both afford the loss, though.
I don't know. You just gave Corbin the title after you like had him lose the Money in the Bank and then lose constantly.
Yeah, but one thing I'll point out is in the time since all that happened, Baron Corbin has won and defended the title twice, and Miz still has not defended the title even once during that entire length of time. So, but anyway, we are going to move on to the women's Survivor Series matchup, which is Alicia Fox captaining Team Raw, and she is accompanied by Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Asuka, and Bayley. And they are going to be facing Team SmackDown, which is captained by Becky Lynch, which also has Carmella, Tamina, and a to-be-announced female superstar. I think Team SmackDown is going to turn the page. I knew you were going to say that.
I don't even care if it fits. On maybe the power balance of the women's divisions. There, I made it fit. I made it work.
Not
Hashtag
really,
making it work.
okay.
Hashtag making it work. And they're going to get a win for SmackDown because Paige is going to be the to-be-announced superstar replacing Charlotte. And that will give SmackDown a 2-0 lead in the day.
So you think women's SmackDown team's going to win?
Yeah, I think women's SmackDown team's going to win, and I think Paige is going to be the sole survivor. Or at least one of the survivors on Team SmackDown.
So I think it's going to be Team Raw.
And you think Asuka's going to be the sole survivor?
At the very least, because I don't think
that
they're
is
going to
true.
have Asuka go down yet.
Because
in order
you're
for
right.
her to...
You're right, because then Asuka would lose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that changes everything. I totally forgot that Asuka's in there.
But you already made your...
Are there disqualifications in this match? Like, can people get eliminated?
Asuka's going to be disqualified?
I think she could get disqualified.
No. She might get counted out. But I think Team Raw is going to win with Asuka.
All right, I'll stick to my guns. Because I think a returning Paige will maybe win it, but that also all depends on what happens with Asuka.
Yeah.
Because then technically you're handing Asuka a loss.
Exactly. That's why I think Team Raw is going to win.
Oh, God.
So, next match after that is the next women's match.
I'm going to go with Charlotte over Alexa, because Charlotte just won.
I'm going to go with Charlotte just because I like Charlotte more, and I like Alexa a lot. I think Charlotte is better in the ring and on the mic.
Shut your mouth, Echo.
They're both really good, but I think Charlotte's just a little better. Like, she's kind of like on the Neville level of the women. And on top of that, I'm doing this because Raw's women team wins, and then SmackDown's women's champion wins, kind of evens it out with the women's division.
Yeah. Then we've got the Shield versus the New Day. I'm going with the Shield.
Same.
I love the New Day. And this is going to be an epic match of epic proportions.
Hell of a match.
But I think you cannot have the Shield lose, especially with Roman having been out for the last month. Yeah. So, and 772402 agrees with us that everybody else was probably going to pick the Shield to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
So, then we got the Bar versus the Usos. I'm going with the Usos.
So am I.
You son of a bitch.
What? That's good for you.
Not really. Not if, well,
that's more towards a tie, which is for your favor.
Well, no, because I feel like I'm gonna get I got the women's prediction wrong, so I gotta pray that I'm right with the title for title. Then we've got I think that's also gonna be a really, really good match. That might be a sleeper match of the night if Shield and New Day doesn't deliver, which I think Shield and New Day is gonna deliver. But yeah, I think if you have the Shield win, you even things out by having the Usos beat the Bar, and I can see either team winning this match, so I go with the Usos. Then we've got the traditional 5-on-5 male Survivor Series match of Team Raw, captained by Kurt Angle, alongside Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Triple H, versus Shane McMahon, captain of Team SmackDown, with John Cena, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Bobby Roode. I'm going with Team Raw.
So am I. Well, I'm picking Team Raw because, I mean, think about it. You got Kurt Angle which this is his second match back. You've got Braun Strowman, who's an absolute monster, destroying everyone. You've got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, who have been killing it, and Finn Balor being the first Universal Champion. Samoa Joe going toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar easily. And then you've got Triple H, a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and has held more world titles than anyone else in this match other than John Cena.
Yeah. The only way I see this not working out for Team Raw is if they do tensions between Triple H and Angle, and Cena ends up like Super Cena-ing and winning the match.
I don't know. I still feel like, because I love Nakamura and Rude, but they're still pretty new to WWE, the main roster and everything. And I think with the guys you've got on Raw, the fact that all of them have been getting monster pushes or are well known in WWE history, and on the other side you've got Shane, which, while he can handle his own in the ring, he's not known as the best guy in the ring and likes to take risks that usually don't work out for him. And you really got, like, the two most reliable guys in the match are Cena and Orton, as opposed to the other side, where they're all very reliable and have proven themselves.
Yeah, I just think the question is, how do you do the... Oh, yeah, that's true. If Raw loses, Kurt Angle loses his job. But then you could have a whole Jason Jordan fighting for it.
Yeah,
Kurt's
and you could
job.
always do other things with Kurt anyway.
But also on the other side, you could still have that tension between Triple H and Kurt Angle.
And
like,
there's one other reason I think that Team Raw is going to win, which I almost forgot to mention.
what?
Two people who are not on Team SmackDown who have tried to be on SmackDown and are not on the Survivor
That's
Series
true.
card at
Sami
all
Zayn and
are
Kevin
Sami Zayn and
Owens.
Kevin Owens. I think they might cost the match.
And
for
I
them.
think the whole them being punished and taken off the European tour, I think that's a worked shoot.
it might be.
I think it might be in order to make people think that they're not going to show up and screw over Shane.
Well, I mean, they were on SmackDown afterwards, but and they were talking about how they're not going to be on Survivor Series. So I have a feeling that all that stuff is going to work in Raw's favor.
All right, and then we've got the main event of Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Probably one of the biggest dream matches of all time.
Thank God it's not
Former IWGP heavyweight champions going against each other. The only Gaijin to ever hold the IWGP heavyweight championship, because Kenny Omega can't claim that because he didn't do that. He's the United States champion.
Yeah.
It's going to be an epic match, but I don't think Styles is beating Lesnar.
Yeah, I think Lesnar's winning.
You don't beat the Beast. I think if anybody's beating the Beast, it's going to be Roman at WrestleMania, and you want Lesnar to look good against Balor.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a hell of a match, and it's only going to help both of them.
And I think Brock is going to just barely survive this one.
Yeah.
Just barely survive.
Like, it's going to be, he's, like, on his feet all and AJ sets up and goes for the phenomenal forearm and just gets
How
caught in an
gross
F5.
would it be? They're probably going to tease it, but how gross would it be if AJ actually hit Brock Lesnar with a Styles Clash? Like,
That'll
do you
probably
think he
happen.
could physically do that
Yeah.
and not crush Lesnar because Lesnar's so top heavy?
Yeah.
All right. I just think it would be an amazing image.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
So that's it for our Survivor Series predictions.
Well, I just want to say that I am predicting that overall, Raw ends up winning Survivor Series.
I'm predicting that it's gonna end up being a wash.
Okay.
Because I think what you do, based on what I'm predicting here, is that SmackDown's gonna win the first 3 early, and SmackDown's gonna be dominating, and then Raw basically wins one. Wait, do I have SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown, Raw? 2. I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, I guess I have SmackDown winning. I thought I had it set so that way it was evenly booked, but I was wrong. So, well then.
Yeah, because you counted all the matches, including the Cruiserweight title match.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
But okay, so I guess I'm gonna have SmackDown winning, but like maybe SmackDown has won at that point, but I'm probably going to be wrong on some of these things because I'm sure they're going to have it being tied going into the final match and Lesnar's going to win it for Raw or something like that.
Yeah.
But I guess I have SmackDown winning because, I mean, then you have Raw winning the last couple matches, but SmackDown wins the overall rivalry between the two.
Yeah, I just think that Raw's going to end up winning in general. I feel like it would be closer if they didn't have Shield versus New Day, but I mean, you really need to do something with the Shield on Survivor Series. If they're all together, you need to use the Shield, you need to do New Day. And I feel like it would be closer, but because they did that, that's why I think Raw's definitely winning.
Okay.
Because I think they at least want to keep the women's division even on both sides, and the rest of it is just going to be whatever.
Okay. So you have Raw winning. I have SmackDown winning, but with Raw ending the night strong, winning the 2 main events. So just going over everything again for Survivor Series, we both have Enzo Amore over Kalisto to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. You have The Miz and I have Baron Corbin in the U.S. versus Intercontinental Champion match. Then you have Team Raw and I have Team SmackDown in the women's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. I feel like you got that one right. I'm already regretting my prediction on that one. We both have Charlotte defeating Alexa in the women's title, women's champion versus champion match. We both have the Shield defeating the New Day in the greatest trios of all time match.
Yeah, this card is just gonna be so good.
We've got the Bar versus. We both picked the Usos versus the Bar in the tag champion versus champion match. Then we both have Team Raw over Team SmackDown, the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, and then we both have Brock Lesnar defeating AJ Styles in the Universal Champion versus WWE Champion match.
Yeah,
and
this
dream
is
match
going to be
for the ages.
A very easy thing because it's basically 2 matches deciding it on Survivor Series at least.
Yes, and that is going to do it for the predictions. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away.
I just want to clearly say it again, though, that I chose that regardless of all my picks win or not, that I said that I think Team Raw is going to win out Survivor Series. As in over the entire pay-per-view.
Yes. I'm trying to get it straight.
Yeah.
Good enough. All right, and I believe that's it for wrestling this week. We talked about Neville, we talked about Ellsworth, we talked about Triple H coming in and taking the final spot of Team Raw away from Jason Jordan.
I still
which
think
sows the
that
seeds of Angle versus Triple H for WrestleMania.
I still think it would have been a good idea for them to have Shane off of Team SmackDown. I think the dream scenario that they do, which they are in no way in hell going to do, is the day of Survivor Series. Oh, Shane still hasn't recovered from the beating on SmackDown Live from Team Raw and needs to be replaced. And who steps up for him? Not going to happen, but I would love to see.
You wish. I don't think Daniel Bryan's
But I
coming
can
back
see
yet.
them doing something like, oh, as of today, Shane can't do it. Who's going to do it? And then it's Kevin Owens. But yeah, we'll see.
I don't think. I'm pretty sure Shane is playing.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be in the match, but I mean that's gonna be a hell of a show. I mean, just between Shield versus New Day, the Brock versus AJ, and the Survivor Series match, all of the matches on the card are gonna be good. With the exception of maybe Enzo versus Kalisto. I think that's going to be probably the weakest match on the card. But all of the matches set up look like they're going to be so good. And I am so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good match. Now we're going to transition from the wrestling into the video games. And we've got more predictions because the Game Awards came out. But first I want to talk about this Battlefront 2 stuff.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to find all the stuff here. A lot happened with Battlefront 2 this week. First, what happened was people got early access into the game and found out that that apparently some of the heroes in the game were locked behind these massive amounts of credits you needed to save up in order to unlock them, namely Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And you need to get, I think it was like 75,000 or something, credits or crystals or whatever the in-game currency was. And you have to basically grind like crazy either to earn them or buy the loot boxes in order to buy them. And I think the loot boxes weren't guaranteed that you would get them. You would just
Yeah.
get the loot boxes just like you would with Overwatch, and there was a chance you could get them.
Yeah.
So it was either, and it was determined, people who had early access had figured out, they crunched the numbers based on beating the campaign and what they got in each multiplayer match, that it would take about 40 hours to unlock Luke Skywalker and or Darth Vader.
It's insane.
And that's not taking money and just throwing it at the paywall and hoping you get those things unlocked.
Yeah. So you basically would have to treat it as a full-time job for a week in order to get it, which is pretty absurd.
Yeah. So basically after that, people were upset because, this isn't like a free-to-play game where you go in and it's like, oh, if you want to buy like other heroes or other people to play as, you started the game for free, pay to unlock them, which is understandable. You didn't put any money. But some people are putting in $60, $80, $90 for those special editions, and they're not getting all the heroes.
Yeah,
they're not getting that value. It's ridiculous. And so, basically, a lot of people freaked out, said that it's not a fair way to do microtransactions, which it isn't. Like, I was outraged when I heard that this happened, because I feel like microtransactions, if they're done, should only be cosmetics.
Yeah, that's like with Overwatch with their game, as well as doing the cosmetics and everything.
Yeah.
Every time they came out with a new character, you had to unlock the character in a loot box, which is absolutely absurd.
That's why Overwatch does it so well, because like everything you get is cosmetic. It's either an emblem or a spray or a different costume skin. You can still play that character, and that character does the same thing no matter what skin you have on it. But if you want to have these cool looking things, you can grind for them or buy them. Mm-hmm. It's not intrusive. It's not predatory. It is fun and inviting. It invites you to play. It's like, oh, you want these cool little extra things that don't really change the way the game works? Then do this. But the way that EA did it, it's basically like if Overwatch 2 came out, and it's like, you get all these heroes, but if you want Soldier 76 and Reaper, you've got to grind for like 40 hours or pay anywhere from maybe $50 to $100 in cash and hope you get them in a loot box.
Yeah, exactly. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like you don't take two characters, especially the two characters who are probably the two most synonymous characters with Star Wars, who probably should be free. The first two free heroes right out the gate, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And put them behind a paywall.
Like, make people grind, like, not even grind that much, but if you want to make people grind for something, have them grind for something like Rey and Kylo.
If you were gonna do that, but I would say, like, if you were gonna grind,
like Kylo Ren, or not Kylo Ren, wow, let me think of that, like Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul.
Well, like, if you were gonna grind out for characters, like, say you don't have like different characters from different eras. Like, maybe it's the same person, but different but like same hero, same abilities. It's like, why don't you have Darth Vader? Then you have like a skin of Darth Vader without his helmet from Return of the Jedi. Maybe you have Anakin Skywalker from episodes 2 and 3 as skins for Darth Vader, and you change and it changes the lightsaber color. Maybe you have it with Luke Skywalker, episode 4, A New Hope. Him and his
Return of the Jedi.
Well, I think Return of the Jedi is the Luke skin you get, but like maybe episode 7 Luke, Hoth Luke, in his rebel outfit Luke, Dagobah Luke.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Like,
but I'm saying, like, even if you do want to do something like make people grind for it, do something where it would take like an hour or two to get the credits or whatever it is to unlock the character, because then at least that way you don't have to spend money on it. You just, while playing the game normally, get the credits to do it. And it's just a matter of, okay, you play the game, have fun, and then you can unlock the character, and it's kind of like a fun thing to look toward and achieve. And it's not something that's like you have to spend tens of hours to do it or spend money to do it. If it's something like a lower level where it's, like I said, it's like an unlockckable in a game like they always used to have.
That's the other thing. It's like, first of all, I don't agree with the heroes at all. Like being things, I am for strictly cosmetics as microtransactions and loot boxes, but like nothing that can affect the gameplay. So that doesn't even mean like no heroes, like no weapons unless it's weapon skins that don't affect the gameplay. No weapons, no like experience boosters or credit boosters or anything. I lost my train of thought there, but like I don't want any heroes or anything in there, anything that can affect the gameplay.
Yeah. And if the heroes are naturally a part of the game, and they did something like you said, well, you get Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader for free, and anyone could play as them like throughout the games and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have others that you could unlock or something. That's something I can understand. Where if it's something that's already built into the game.
I think so long as they don't have different abilities. If it's skins of the same character, but they have the same abilities. Because if it's different abilities, then that changes the game state.
Yeah.
And that affects how people play the game and what the power and what the balance is in the game. I feel like you shouldn't be putting in microtransactions that affect the balancing of the game.
Yeah, you shouldn't do something that affects the balance of the game. But if you want to do something where it's a fun thing, where it's, oh, I could play as this character instead. Aha. That's fine, but
yeah.
They're just.
And I also think like the grind. This was the point that I had forgotten. Like the grind is so insane for it.
Yeah.
That it's like, why even go for it? So basically, after that initial feedback, EA said, okay, we're going to. Well, actually, I think the first Reddit comment hit, which became the most downvoted Reddit comment in history. It was in a Reddit thread about complaining about the microtransaction system, and EA responded with, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and our other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure the players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon as and as often as we can." So basically that wasn't an apology, that was more of a this is why we're doing it. And we're keeping it like this.
Yeah.
And people did not like that. It became the most downvoted Reddit comment in history. I believe it had over 300,000 downvotes at least. And the next to most downvoted comment in history had 24,000.
Jesus.
So by over 10 times, it was the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time.
Way to go, EA. You're fucking up all over the place.
Well, people, there's some debate on whether it was an EA mandate. A lot of people think that it was actually an EA decision because some devs have come forward and saying like, these aren't exactly publisher mandates. These are more so decisions by the developer. So it might be on DICE, a bad decision made by maybe the higher ups in DICE on how to monetize this. But
still,
basically,
Visceral Games is not a good thing for this to follow.
Yeah, no. This following Visceral Games, like, you gotta wonder, like, what the hell was Disney thinking giving the Star Wars license to EA? Because look at this. We're now like 3 years in. The single-player game that everybody wanted, that a lot of people seem to want, got eliminated and got cut. We had Battlefront 1, which was fun, but shallow and underwhelming.
Yeah, it was not impressive.
And now Battlefront 2, which has this massive controversy about it. EA is not handling the Star Wars game license well at all.
Yep.
And it really upsets me. It makes me think maybe, EA shouldn't have, cut Lucasfilm Games or whatever.
Yeah.
LucasArts, and kept LucasArts up. Or maybe they should have found somebody else to make or publish the games. I mean, the only other side, I guess, would be Activision or Ubisoft. I don't know how well Ubisoft would be able to do it, and I fear Activision about as much as EA, but still, it's like, oh, what a mess the Star Wars games license is in right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the story doesn't end there. After it got such a backlash from fans, and fans lashed out and being like, we don't give a crap about what's fair or not to you guys based on like rewards and progression. We are upset about the fact that, like we had said, this affects the balance of the game, and it's heroes that should be unlockable at the start. It's like, if you play a Star Wars game, if you ask somebody what characters do you want to play as, outside of maybe Han Solo, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader are going to be probably the most common, frequent answers.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, here's a Star Wars game. Pay $60. Okay, here's $60. So I get to play as Luke and Darth Vader now, right? Because I love playing as Luke and Darth Vader.
Nope.
Yeah, about that.
We're going to need some more money for that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm not
basically
even sure I'm gonna look into getting that.
after
game
that
anymore.
backlash, EA tried to compromise and saying, okay, we've cut back the cost in credits of what these characters are, so that way you don't grind as much. But some people were also saying, well, they've also scaled back the rewards as well, which I don't know if it was proportionally equal to that, but it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So that didn't satisfy people, and people were still upset at the fact that it had nothing to do with how much it was made it worse, but it really didn't at the core didn't have anything to do with that. It was the fact of what the microtransactions were.
Yeah.
And so last night, EA decided they were temporarily going to be suspending not the loot boxes, but the ability to purchase them for real money. So they basically apologized and said, we got this microtransaction system wrong. Clearly, you guys don't like it or want it. So we are pulling the purchasing from the microtransaction system, and this way you guys can play, grind, and earn these heroes.
Mm.
In which I still don't agree with it, because I don't think you should have to grind to earn heroes or things that affect the balance of the game.
Yeah, if it's something that affects the balance of the game, it's ridiculous. If it's something fun and extra, that's fine.
Like even in Halo, like in Halo 2 and the Halo 3, and I believe it was kind of funny, I heard talking about this, Tim Geddes, I believe, brought it up. Like, when you were trying to grind for that really cool stuff in the Halo 2 multiplayer, it was all armor pieces and emblem pieces, which had no effect on the game. It was more of a status thing than a balance thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not that hard to figure out, like, how to make this work. Overwatch made it work perfectly. Take what Overwatch did and transition it to your game. It's not that hard. The people aren't going to care if you're just like Overwatch, because that system works.
Mm-hmm. Your gameplay will be different. You can have the microtransaction system the same.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, people say, like, loot boxes aren't going away. They're not going away for Battlefront 2, which is true. The loot boxes are still there. You just can't pay money for it. What I am hoping happens is that Battlefront 2 that DICE goes back to the drawing board, and with these microtransactions, change the system, unlock heroes, and start programming in skins and emblems and stuff like that you can use for microtransactions, and then allow for people to pay for them.
Yeah, that's going to happen with Battlefront 3, unfortunately, because they're not going to do that now.
But, like, Battlefront 2 is very damaged. The reviews have been coming out. The campaign has been getting okay reviews. They said if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll enjoy it, but it's short, and it's not, and the gameplay isn't any different from multiplayer matches. You're still playing in the open maps with objectives going places, and that the story was just all right. And then there's this big controversy over the loot box with the multiplayer. People say that the multiplayer is good, multiplayer is fun, it's a lot better than Battlefront 1, but, you know, it's got the whole microtransaction thing looming over it, the loot box thing. Even if you can't pay to win anymore, like the fact that Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader are still locked out from you at the onset, and you have to grind like crazy to play them. I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, same.
Free time. As you guys heard me on the podcast earlier, I haven't played a single video game this week. Like, people like me, I am never going to get to play as Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in this game, because I'm never going to have the time to grind that much.
And so, why spend the money on the game?
Yeah, I mean,
if it's
I'm a Star Wars fan, I still want to play it because I want to experience the story and everything, but I'm not buying it now at launch, and I may wait for the price to go down before I pick it up.
Yeah, wait till they have some kind of special used game sale at GameStop or something, get it super cheap.
Yeah. So, that was, I believe, the latest. I saw a story. I just want to look at this real quick before we move on. Here's one from CNBC. Apparently, EA is getting hurt in the stock market because of this fiasco.
I'm not surprised.
This is from an hour ago. The headline is, Wall Street is freaking out as EA caves again to social media outrage over its Star Wars game. Investors are now worried the controversy over Electronic Arts' Star Wars Battlefront 2 in-game monetization model will hurt the video game sales, which it will. Mm-hmm. The escalation of EA concessions over the past month are a potential negative indicator of pre-order sales trends and overall unit confidence, Bank of America Merrill Lynch analyst Justin Post writes, which is another thing. I've heard that apparently EA is making it difficult also we're making it difficult for people to cancel their pre-orders
I'm not
of the game.
surprised.
Like there were errors with the site, or you had to make an extra call or something like that, or send an extra email in order to get your pre-order canceled. So people are pissed off about that. EA's stock is down 7% of the month to date through Thursday compared to with the S&P 500's 0.4% gain. So on the S&P it went up by 0.4%, but the stock as a whole went down 7%. Here's the story. I'll read this real quick before we move on. Angry gamers are winning the war against Electronic Arts' in-game money-making strategy in its new Star Wars Battlefront 2 title. Wall Street is taking notice and lowering its expectations for the video game's financial prospects. The company announced Thursday it is temporarily turning off all in-game purchases in Star Wars Battlefront 2 in response to the negative sentiment from the gaming community. And here's part of the statement that we were talking about. It's clear that many of you feel there are still challenges in the design. We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages. Sorry we didn't get this right, EA wrote in the post. We hear you loud and clear, so we're turning off all in-game purchases. The ability to purchase crystals in-game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. So, changes to the game, that makes me think that they might actually be changing their whole loot box system. And the way it works and what's in the loot box system.
That would be nice. We'll see if that happens.
So, continuing the story, EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 officially launches today, which is Friday, November 17th, 2017. But portions of the game went live on November 9th for the company's EA Access and Origin Access subscribers. The company's shares went down 3% Friday, today. So, I guess it was 7% overall, 4% over the course of the week, 3% today. Or 4% over the course of the month, 3% today alone. Bank of America Merrill Lynch now predicts the Star Wars title sales are likely to disappoint investors and come under the company's target because of the gamer outrage. The escalation of EA concessions over the past month are a potential negative indicator of pre-order sales trends and overall unit confidence, as analyst Justin Post wrote in a note to clients Friday entitled "In-Game Purchases Benched the Night Before Launch." The Star Wars Battlefront 2 bumpy launch week creates incremental risk to early unit sales. Initial reviews also underwhelming, which we talked about. We think unit sales could come in below EA's earlier fiscal year 18 outlook for around 14 million units. They're predicting 14 million units to be sold, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen now given this controversy.
Lost one right here.
Yeah. Post maintained his buy rating and $137 price target for EA shares, which is fair because EA is a lot bigger than just a Star Wars license, representing 23% upside to Thursday's close. So he rated them 23% higher than the actual market had them rated at the end of the day yesterday, which is now 26% higher because they lost another 3% today. The analyst is hopeful upside from the publisher's sports titles. Will make up for faltering sales results for Star Wars Battlefront 2. We think the strength of Ultimate Team could offset a 2 to 3 million unit shortfall for Battlefront and remain comfortable with our fiscal year 18 estimates, he wrote. And then it goes on about all the uproar that we had talked about, and also on Motherboard. Was it Motherboard? There was somewhere else I had seen. Maybe it was on the Kotaku piece. There was an update saying that apparently, before DICE and EA made this decision, they spoke with Disney's CEO Bob Iger, probably discussing the situation with him and and maybe getting Disney's approval on outright removing the microtransactions.
That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. And the call also might have been a call to reassure Bob Iger of what EA has in the pipeline for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's not much, because hopefully it's going to be given to someone else.
Yeah. Laserscope's in the chat, by the way, saying, "Dang early. Glad you two could fit one in before the weekend, though." Yep.
No probs.
Getting it in on a Friday as opposed to a Saturday. But that's it for all the Battlefront 2 news. Before we go to the Game Awards...
Weekly Overwatch news. Hey, everybody.
I'm
This
just
week,
letting it happen this time. I'm not even fighting it.
this week, with Overwatch, they have officially released the character of Moira on the PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. I got to try it out a little bit. This is going to be one of my new mains, without a doubt.
She's that good?
Oh yeah, because I had been she's not the best character, but the idea of it is basically when I would play as a support, I would usually play as like Lucio because it's easy to heal that way, or maybe Zenyatta. But with this character, not only does she heal other people,
she damages others at the same time.
she could damage other people and heal herself while damaging them.
Oh, that's good. She's got like a vampiric type kind of thing going on.
Because if you look, when
Lifesteal.
she goes to use the abilities, which one thing that kind of bothers me, Overwatch, you need to get this shit in check. Why is it that I hit the right trigger and they use the left hand, and then I use the left trigger and they use the right hand? Can't you just get that together? It's the same kind of thing that you did with Doomfist. Come on. But when you see it, when she uses the healing, she shoots out like a yellow like
stream.
kind of mist. Not even a stream, like a mist kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Like a streaming mist.
I could have sworn it was actually like almost like a beam or something in the trailer.
I thought so too in the trailer, but playing the actual game, you could see it like misting from the hand when she goes to do it. And then the other one, she's not shooting out a beam. You see it's actually being pulled towards her, a black beam being pulled towards her from the opponent, and she's getting healed while damaging them. Plus, she's also got the orbs that she could send out that heal or damage people.
Over
where
time.
You hit L1, and then you can hit
It's
either
like,
L2 or R2 to choose which it does.
It's like Zenyatta's orbs, except instead of the damage orb like causing increased damage to somebody, it drains their life over time.
Yeah. And then with R1, you could teleport wherever you want a little bit. It's kind of the best way to describe it is, I guess, the way it looks to other people in the game when they're looking at you with the way they showed in the trailer is teleporting. But the way it actually is with how you play it is similar to Reaper, with when he goes into the Phantom thing,
which makes sense because in the lore, she's the one who gave Reaper his powers,
exactly.
or turned
Reaper into Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper into Reaper.
But it looks like she's got like a slightly better version of that because you can't even see her when she's doing it.
Huh.
And then I also tested out her ultimate ability, in which it's not as powerful as they make it look. Like, it doesn't do as much damage as fast as they make it look. But I did it in the practice range, and I had the guy who was getting shot in front of me, and then the person who was shooting him behind him, and I used a beam. That guy's health was slowly increasing, staying the same despite being shot, and the guy behind him was getting damaged. Which I love, because that's a matter of when you're trying to push towards the end, you just kind of get behind both groups as best you can, shoot, and you'll have a good chance of winning, because you're healing your allies and damaging the enemy at the same exact time. Looks like she's going to be really good. I enjoyed the little bit that I got to try out in the practice range thing. And the other thing that makes me very happy about her is the unlockables for her. The
skins are good.
The skins are pretty decent up to legendary, and then they get really cool. One of the things I really like about it is, you know, the map Oasis in Overwatch?
Yeah.
And how the basic idea of it is it's a city that's basically all about technology and a scientific city and all that.
Yeah.
One of her skins is called Oasis. And it's based on her being like one of the scientists in Oasis, which I think is really cool. Seeing as how that's her whole thing. And then her last two legendary skins. Closest thing I could equate them to with how I feel with the theme and style and everything. David Bowie.
Ooh.
It's real cool, guys.
That's
real cool.
Nice.
The only thing that's a little upsetting is when you go to check out the weapons, it's the exact same image of her going like this, and the only way you can tell what the weapons are is when you switch to gold to preview, the things on her hand kind of turn gold, which are mostly covered by her sleeves anyway. But that's forgivable.
Okay.
So she looks like a really cool character, and I'm really excited to play as her. And one quick thing I wanted to point out before we get into the video game awards. Quick thing. We talked about how GameStop was going to be doing the Power Pass. It was actually supposed to be starting about 3 or 4 days from now. They have scrapped it now, and apparently that is because of the fact that they have discovered that their old-ass computers can't handle a rental program in the system, which I could have told you from my experience working there. It's apparently just suspended right now. They don't know when they will bring it about, but that's apparently the reason why.
Okay, so much for that idea, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Probably should have thought that out more. Last thing we're going to talk about today on the podcast is the fact that the Game Awards, which is the video game awards show that happens every December, run by Jeff Keighley, announced their nominees this week. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to run down every category, give our thoughts, maybe say what we think is going to win, and, have a chat. The Game Awards are happening on Thursday, December 7th, so that is 3 weeks from now, I believe. Yes, okay. 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks from yesterday. So 20 days away. So without further ado, we're going to go from Game of the Year on down. Because the big thing about Game of the Year is nominees include games you would expect: Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, and then this is the interesting one that people are unsure about, is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, which when I first heard about this, I'm like, undoubtedly, hands down, give it to PUBG. It doesn't matter if it's just a multiplayer game. It is It was one of the best games of the year. However, the game has not technically launched yet.
Yep.
It has been in early access all year, so it's not officially released. So technically, like, the full game comes out for PC in December after the Game Awards. So technically, it should be nominated for next year's Game Awards.
Yeah, they're basically trying to put a game that's basically been in beta the entire existence as Game of the Year.
But it's been the counter argument to that is also, but it's been so good in beta that even though it's not a full release, it still should be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, but it kind of bothers me because that's the same kind of logic of like, oh, well, I watched the preview for the beginning of, what was it? The Dark Knight when that came out, and that looked so good, so that should be nominated for an Emmy, and it's, no, it hasn't actually come out yet. I understand it could be very good, but it's also a matter of it's not officially released yet.
Yeah, but it is also the most played game on Steam. I don't know if it's the best selling game because I think it still has a way to go before that it beats Grand Theft Auto 5, but like, it's the most popular game on Twitch. I love it. Part of me wants to vote for it, but almost out of principle for what you said, I probably won't.
Yeah.
I will probably vote for Super Mario Odyssey or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I haven't played either of those games. From everything I'm hearing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Laserscope believes that Horizon Zero Dawn was better than Zelda. It's a better Zelda game this year. It does mean that Nintendo wasn't awesome. I've heard lots of good things about Horizon Zero Dawn. I did not play it, but I think PUBG's gonna win because this is a voting system.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's a voting jury, so I think it's experts that like maybe weigh the votes of the fans and I think it's like weighted to like fan vote and jury vote, and like jury vote has a little more weight than the fan vote, but if the fan vote's high enough, it can overturn the jury vote.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the way the system works. So I think PUBG. I think the jury will probably not vote for PUBG. They will probably vote for either Zelda, Super Mario Odyssey, or Horizon Zero Dawn. But I think PUBG is probably going to win anyway because I think the popular vote is going to be so strong for PUBG that the experts, the jury, probably won't vote for PUBG, but they'll probably be spread out amongst the other three, that the popular vote for PUBG will probably overtake all of their votes and probably win Game of the Year.
I'm gonna guess it might be Mario.
Yeah,
and it's had such a huge swell recently.
And funny thing, PlayerUnknown, for the reasons we're saying, he doesn't think PUBG should be considered Game of the Year either. So it'll be interesting if he's there at the Game Awards and the game wins to see what he will say if he gets the award.
Yeah, that kind of really bothers me now. If the guy who made the game said no and you're doing it anyway.
Well, he can't. It doesn't matter. Like, he can have his opinion, but he's not the be all end all of who gets nominated.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, that's kind of a ridiculous thing where it's like, I don't think my thing should be nominated because I don't think it technically should yet. And they're just like, well, we're not going to listen and do this anyway.
Well, that's the way the world works. Then after that, below Game of the Year, we have Best Game Direction. which nominees are Wolfenstein 2, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I think
What's the
I would
category
probably
again?
best game direction. So I believe like best like theming
Yeah.
or the way that the game world is like built and modeled after and what it's like. I think best game direction. I think that's gonna. I feel like that should go to Horizon Zero Dawn from what I've heard. From what I've heard of the game, I haven't been able to play any of these games, but from what I've heard,
I'm gonna say
Horizon
it's
Zero
probably
Dawn.
gonna be either that or maybe Wolfenstein.
I think a lot of people are also gonna pick Resident Evil 7. I could see Resident Evil 7 winning this, but I think Horizon Zero Dawn can do it.
Yeah, these are all games that I also still have not played.
Yeah, there's so many games I have not played this year. I feel awful. Best narrative, so best story. What Remains of Edith Finch, indie game. Near Automata, which I heard had a very good story. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, another indie game. Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I think Horizon's going to take that one hands down. Wolfenstein 2, I'm sure, has a good story, but not better than Horizon Zero Dawn from everything I've heard. And I feel like Hellblade and What Remains of Edith Finch, I don't know if those were popular enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
To do it. So, moving on to best art direction, we have Destiny 2, Cuphead, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I think Cuphead should win that one.
Cuphead's definitely gonna
Cuphead's art direction is so beautiful. God, that just reminds me that I'm only like an hour or two into Cuphead, and I really need to keep playing that game.
Yeah, and you know this
so
reminds you
good. So hard.
That's
so
the
good.
first nomination that we've come across for Destiny 2, which is kind of surprising.
Destiny's been nominated. I've seen the nomination before. Destiny's been nominated in a couple places. It's just not at the Game of the Year, which is understandable. I love Destiny, but Destiny 2 is not a Game of the Year candidate when it's up against what was nominated. Then we have Best Score Music. Destiny 2's there again, which did have a great score.
Yeah, it did.
That music from when you're leaving the city, the last city, to head to like the European Dead Zone and you're wandering off by yourself, that music is amazing.
Yeah, that was
That
really
is
good.
such moving music. Cuphead, though, that old 1920s, 1930s music, though, that was also really good. Nier Automata, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Persona 5. I feel like people might go for Super Mario or Legend of Zelda, but for me, I feel like this is between Destiny 2 and Cuphead.
Yeah,
This is probably the one spot where Destiny has the best chance of winning. I might say Cuphead would win again because I think that music is so good, but I would like to see Destiny 2 win this one.
Yeah, same.
Then we've got Best Audio Design, which is sound of gunfire, effects, all that kind of stuff.
Sound engineering more.
Yeah, sound effects over music. Destiny 2 is there again. Then we've got Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like I think Resident Evil 7 is probably going to win that one because that's such an atmospheric game and the sound effects play such a huge role in atmospheric horror that I think Resident Evil 7 is going to win. Phone call. Hope that's not getting picked up by the microphone. We've got I think best sound design probably Resident Evil 7. That's probably definitely getting picked up. That's definitely getting picked up by the microphone. Woo. Luckily it got picked up. Nope, it did not get picked up, so this is going to keep on going. Why? Just let it, just don't. Oh, God. Is it going to ring a fourth time? No. Okay. So, anyway, like I was saying, I think Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is going to win this one. I think Destiny 2's got a good shot. And I also think that the Nintendo games, just because of how good they are as a whole, are also nominated. So I think that one's up in the air, but if I had to make a pick, I would say Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, probably the same.
Then we've got Best Performance, so voice acting. We got Melina Jurgens playing Hellblade, who played the titular character of Senua. Laura Bailey, who played Nadine in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Claudia Black, who played Chloe in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Brian Bloom, who played BJ Blazkowicz, who is the main character in Wolfenstein 2. And then Ashley Birch, who played Aloy, the main character of Horizon Zero Dawn. I think Ashley Birch is going to win that one. because I've heard that the
Maybe,
voice
yeah,
acting
probably.
and in that game and Aloy as a character was so good in that game that she was one of the standouts that I think that Ashley Birch is going to win that one. I don't really see like Uncharted: The Lost
Blazkowicz.
Legacy was a good addition, I guess, to the Uncharted series, but it wasn't a full game release, so I don't think it's going to do the trick. And I don't know about Hellblade, and I don't think, as good as Wolfenstein is, I don't think they're like that game. You think of that game and you think, oh my god, the voice acting.
I don't know, I haven't tried it, so.
So Laserscope thinks Ashley Birch or Laura Bailey.
It's quite possible they are both very good.
Yes. Then we've got games for impact, which are games that this is a category where it's games that are meant to send like a message about a certain like social subject or like disability, like depression or stuff like that.
Kind of like what's that game that's coming out soon? Or not necessarily soon, but by the same guys who did Heavy Rain.
No,
Detroit.
It's not like Detroit. Well, I mean, I guess you could say Detroit because it has to deal with AI stuff, but I'm thinking more along the lines of like a Gone Home, because Gone Home touches on homosexuality or Depression Quest, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've got Please Knock on My Door, Night in the Woods, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Bury Me, My Love, and What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
I have no idea.
I don't know any of these games.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from Buzz, I'd say either Hellblade or What Remains of Edith Finch will probably win that. Then we've got Best Ongoing Game, which is basically a game that can continue to go, like has gone on and has like persistent world, almost like an MMO kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Warframe, Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, Grand Theft Auto Online, Destiny 2, and PUBG, and good lord is that stacked.
Yeah, I'm going to say Destiny 2 hasn't done too much since
That's what a lot of people are saying, is that like Destiny 2 just released, so it's not really an ongoing game.
Like maybe next year, but you know where my vote's going for this. It's definitely Overwatch.
I think it's going to go to PUBG. I think PUBG has overtaken Overwatch this year as the most like ongoing game, but again there's that argument of it's still early access.
Yeah, it's still early access, not a full game, and Overwatch has not only been adding stuff to the game, they've been adding stuff to the story and have so much
PUBG's been constantly updating itself, and GTA Online is constantly coming out with new content, and GTA Online until PUBG came out was the king of the online game over Overwatch. So I think it's definitely not going to be Rainbow Six Siege or Warframe. I don't think it's going to be Destiny 2 because Destiny 2 just came out. I think it's going to be between Overwatch, GTA, or PUBG. One of those three I think is going to take the crown.
I think it's definitely going to be Overwatch because they've been coming out with a lot of stuff and people have been going crazy.
If I was going to make a prediction, I would say PUBG, but we'll see. I can see any of those three doing it. Then we got the best mobile game, which has Fire Emblem. Well, before we move on, Laserscope says that he thinks that Rainbow Six Siege deserves the award for the huge turnaround since launch. I did hear that it did have a really good turnaround, but I don't think it's popular enough or mainstream enough of a game that it's going to win.
And also, like I said before, part of the reason I say Overwatch is because Overwatch came out and was really good, and they've kind of kept the momentum going with it.
Yeah.
They've just been coming out with more stuff that add to the game that make it better.
Mm-hmm. But that's why Rainbow Six Siege has a nomination, is because of their turnaround.
Not true.
Anyway, for mobile game, we've got Fire Emblem Heroes, Super Mario Run, Old Man's Journey, Monument Valley 2, and Hidden Folks. I think Fire Emblem Heroes is going to win that because Fire Emblem is huge, and a ton of people say Fire Emblem Heroes is so good. You play it?
Yeah, I still play it. Yeah, I played it since launch.
Good?
Yeah, it's real good.
Worth the award?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's why I said definitely that one.
Then we've got Best Handheld Game, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, Monster Hunter Stories, Metroid Samus Returns, Ever Oasis, Fire Emblem Echoes Shadow of Valentia. I haven't played any of these games, but if I was going to pick, Monster Hunter's huge. It'll probably be Monster Hunter or maybe even Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Fire Emblem.
Then we've got Best VR or AR Game. We got Super Hot VR, which I've heard lots of good things about. Star Trek Bridge Crew, which I heard is the best VR game out there, even though it's repetitive. Lone Echo / Echo Arena, Farpoint, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. A lot of people are saying that Resident Evil 7 Biohazard should win this, but I also go back to the fact that a lot of people report being nauseous and sick when they play Resident Evil 7 Biohazard on VR.
Yeah.
So I feel like if your game makes people sick, that should disqualify you from winning the award. Maybe not from being nominated if you're that good, but I think it should disqualify you from winning the award.
Yeah.
I think Star Trek Bridge Crew should win this, but I could very well see Super Hot winning it.
Yeah, I think Super Hot might win because, I mean, one of the issues with Star Trek is you need to have 4 people to play it.
Yeah. Then we got Best Action Game, which features Prey. Talk about big AAA games that kind of just came out and nobody really noticed. I heard it was good.
Well, that's to say the reception was meh.
Yeah. We got Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, Cuphead, and Wolfenstein 2. I think this is the category where Destiny 2 wins an award.
Definitely.
Because Cuphead is a fun action game, but it's more of an action platformer and a shoot mania game or like Contra-based game. But Cuphead could come away and steal this. Wolfenstein 2 I heard is really good, but Destiny 2 is so popular. I think this is the award that Destiny wins.
Yeah.
Back to the VR AR games. Laserscope thinks the Resident Evil 7 will run away with that award.
It's possible.
Could. Best action adventure game. We've got Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Horizon Zero Dawn. This is a stacked one right here. I don't think Lost Legacy is winning this at all. Assassin's Creed Origins got rave reviews. Legend of Zelda got rave reviews. Super Mario Odyssey got rave reviews, and Horizon Zero Dawn got rave reviews.
That makes you think. Assassin's Creed got rave reviews for a lot of stuff, and this is the first time that's showing up.
Yeah, I think
it's partially because of the fact that it's so close.
If I was gonna pick, I would say maybe Assassin's Creed Origins wins this one.
Yeah, it might be Zelda,
but I could see Zelda, Super Mario, or Horizon Zero Dawn. I can see anybody but Uncharted winning that one.
Yeah, which is
that is such a
crazy.
Stacked category. Yeah. Such a stacked category. Then we got Best RPG, South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Suikoden 6.
We wish.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, which came out just before the Game Awards last year, so qualifies for this year. Divinity: Original Sin 2, Nier Automata, and Persona 5. I think Persona 5 is going to win this because it's received so popularly, and Persona is such a popular series. But I would love to see South Park or Final Fantasy 15 win this.
I'd like to see Divinity: Original Sin 2 win.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never played the Divinity Original Sin games.
I have not played it. I've seen a good amount of that game, though. That's the one I was telling you about with one of our first episodes we had here, where they have the Game Master mode.
Oh, nice.
Where you basically could do, like,
a
anything.
D&D campaign?
Yeah, pretty much, where you could do pretty much whatever you want to do in the game. You just say what you want, and they can make it happen.
And Nier Automata also got really good reviews and was received really well by fans and critics. So, Laserscope, I think I agree with you. He doesn't think that any of these guys could win the RPG, that there's no clear front runner. I think it's an open field. It's true. I think any of these games could win and should win. Then we got Best Fighting Game, Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Injustice 2, and ARMS. I think Injustice 2 is the clear winner in this one. Because oh god, I can't wait. GameStop was selling Injustice 2 used, or Injustice 2 on sale last weekend for like $30, and I had a $10 GameStop gift card, and I thought maybe I should pick it up, and I'm like, but I've spent a lot of money. And then 2 days later, that Ninja Turtles trailer drops. I'm like, son of a bitch!
Yep.
I should have picked the game up.
Yeah, we should probably hurry up. We gotta get going soon.
Yeah, I know. I accidentally just went back, so I gotta go back to the categories. Yeah, we're almost done with the categories. Anyway, but back onto the fighting game stuff. Yeah, Tekken 7. What I heard wasn't too great. ARMS I heard wasn't that great, and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite I heard was a disaster.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So by default, I feel like Injustice 2 wins, but it also was a really good fighting game from everything I've heard. Best Family Game: Splatoon 2, Sonic Mania, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Super Mario Odyssey. I feel like this is where Super Mario Odyssey wins. All these games, well, except for Sonic Mania, from what I heard, are good.
Yeah. And
probably deserve to win, but this is the one that where Super Mario Odyssey is going to win. Best Strategy Game: XCOM 2, War of the Chosen, Tooth and Tail, Total War, Warhammer 2, Halo Wars 2, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Mario & Rabbids is probably going to win that one.
I'd say either that or
Warhammer, maybe?
No, XCOM.
Tooth and Tail is actually a pretty good game.
I believe it.
From what I've seen. It's actually a pretty good strategy game. Like, it was on IndieBox like I think a year ago or so.
Okay.
And it looked good. I believe that's one of the games that Xavier Woods played when we were doing indie games. Best sports / racing game: Project Cars 2, Pro Evolution Soccer 18, NBA 2K18, GT Sport, Forza Motorsport 7, or FIFA 18. I think NBA 2K18 is going to win this from what I hear.
Think it's going to be next. Let's keep going.
Pro Evo, I heard, has been getting better. FIFA, I hear, is staying the same. Might be one of the racing games, like maybe Forza 7.
Whatever.
But yeah, probably Forza or NBA. Then we got best multiplayer. Fortnite, which now that its Battle Royale mode is out, is apparently incredibly popular.
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty World War II, which is Call of Duty. Splatoon 2, Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Destiny 2, and PUBG. I think PUBG is going to win this, even though we've been over it before with the whole thing.
I'm going to go with Destiny 2, though.
I would like to say Destiny 2, but I think Fortnite could also win. And, Call of Duty has those Call of Duty fans that will vote for Call of Duty. I think anybody but Splatoon could win that one. Then we got most anticipated game of 2018, or most anticipated game going forward.
PUBG.
We got The Last of Us 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel's Spider-Man, and God of War. Good Lord.
It's going to be PUBG. If it should win any of those categories, it should be PUBG.
That's true.
With that one. I'm going to say Red Dead 2.
That's what I'm going to go with. I mean, Last of Us 2, the first trailer was good. We really haven't seen much in terms of actual gameplay or what the game world looks like. We've only seen cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Hunter World has got a big groundswell around it, so that could do it. There's a lot of hype around Marvel Spider-Man and the new God of War game, but I just want Red Dead 2 so bad.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people go crazy over Red Dead, which is why I think that's probably going to be it.
Yeah. Laser Scope, another omission. Dragon Ball FighterZ with the Z should also probably be on the most anticipated on there, and I think that would have a strong chance of winning. That should be on there. That's probably going to win best fighting game next year. Best indie game: Pyre, Night in the Woods, Cuphead, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade. Cuphead's winning that one. I think, no doubt about it. Not that the other indie games aren't good, but I think Cuphead's got such a popularity and such a fandom. It was so well received that it's going to win that one. Best student game. These are games created by students. We got Meaning, Level Squared, Impulsion, Falling Sky, Hollowed, and From Light. I don't know any of these games, so I'm not going to make any predictions. I just wanted to make sure the nominees were announced. Then we got Trending Gamer, which was won by Boogie2988 last year and Greg Miller the year before. It's basically for a gamer who, like, gamer streamer reporter who is trending in the world of video games. We got Steven Spohn, who is the founder of Able Gamers. We've got Mike Griziak, who is an esports competitor from Shroud. We got Guy Beam, who is Dr. Disrespect. Clint Lexa from Half Coordinated, and Andrea Renee from What's Good Games, who is also appears on the Kind of Funny Games cast as the busiest woman in the business. She also does Yahoo Esports. I want to see Andrea win because I've met Andrea and I've always seen her constantly around the video game scene. She works her ass off constantly to be like the most prominent professional woman in video game journalism and in the gaming industry. So I feel like she deserves to win. But I think if Dr. Disrespect tells his followers to go vote for him, I think he's gonna win.
Yeah, he's probably gonna win.
So it'll be an interesting speech, but I hope Andrea Renee wins that one. We got Best Esports Game: Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or Overwatch. I think League's going to win that one. Either League of Legends or Rocket League. I mean, you would like to hope for Overwatch, but I don't think Overwatch has gotten popular enough in the esports world to win. So I think League...
They've got an esports league all to their own.
That hasn't launched yet.
No, it has. They've been having world tournaments and stuff. But anyway.
No, they had on the official league with Robert Kraft and all those people in it. And it's still not as popular as League of Legends.
Yeah.
Best esports player: Kuro Kuroki Salehi Takasomi. He from Team Liquid. He plays Dota 2. Ryojihong Ryu of Seoul Dynasty. He's an Overwatch player. We got Nico Kovac from FaZe, who plays CSGO. Marcelo Coldzera David of SK Gaming. He's another CSGO player. And then we've also got Faker from SK Telecom 1 of League of Legends. I normally wouldn't vote on this, but Faker is like the guy in esports. He is like right now with how good he is in League of Legends, he is like the Michael Jordan of esports.
Okay.
So I think Faker is going to win that one.
I have no idea.
I don't know who any of the other people are, but I do know Faker, and I do know that Faker is like the guy in esports. Best esports team, Team Liquid, SK Telecom 1, Lunatic High, FaZe Clan, and Cloud9. All these guys are good, but SK Telecom 1 is like the team.
It's the other team I've heard of is Cloud1.
Yeah, Cloud9. Well, Team Liquid is also one that I know of in FaZe. But SK Telecom 1, they're the ones who like almost always win all of the big League of Legends tournaments and games. So I'm probably gonna go with them. Best debut indie game. Slime Rancher, Mr. Shifty, Hollow Knight, Golf Story, and Cuphead. Cuphead's probably gonna win that one. And then the final category is best Chinese game. Monument Valley 2, JX3HD, Gumballs, Icy, and King of Glory. And I don't know any of those games, so I'm not going to make any kind of predictions. And with that, that is your Game Awards, which will be coming to you guys in just 20 days, just under 3 weeks. And as we wrap up those Game Awards, we are going to wrap up this supersized prediction-filled episode of Super Grapple Bros. This has been episode 30 of Super Grapple Bros. Do not forget, guys, you can catch us live on Twitch every week, either on a Friday or Saturday, at twitch.tv/L_Murpho. You can catch us on VOD there as well. You can also catch us on VOD on YouTube at youtube.com/LMurphoReel. That is where every episode goes up 24 hours after the Twitch live stream. You can also listen to us in audio format on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and lots of other places where podcasts can be found. If you want to
and subscribe,
yes, rate, review, and subscribe. Both all over the place helps us out, especially in the audio version. The more ratings and reviews we get on iTunes in particular, we will actually be a officially rated and reviewed podcast, and it will actually show up for people when they search for wrestling or video game podcasts. So that'll help us out. We would really appreciate it. If you want to know when we go live on Twitch, make sure to check us out on Twitter, as we tweet whenever we go live on Friday or Saturday, because our schedules vary, because we're very busy people. We have full-time jobs and commitments. He's got, this whole family thing that weighs him down.
Yeah, I kind of have to go pick one of those family things up soon. So.
Yeah. So you can find me at L_Murpho, him at DMurph_42. Check us out there, so that way you guys find out whenever we go live. Also, if you have any questions, concerns, topics of conversation, trivia, be sure to send us an email at supergrapplebros@gmail.com. We will be sure to address it in the show, and we will also interact with you in the chat if you are on Twitch, as Laserscope is doing right now. Thank you for saying to have fun. You have a good rest of the day, Laserscope, a good weekend, and enjoy Survivor Series and War Games. And that's going to do it for us. I believe I've covered everything.
Yep.
Got everything? Yes. We're getting this down. I'm getting the hang of this now.
Very good.
Thank you all so much for watching or listening. I have been L Murpho. He has been DMurph.
Yes.
I'll let you say that. You say that. I interrupted you. You go ahead.
I will be DMurph.
Will be? You mean you're not now?
Powering down.
Ah, damn it. I forgot to charge him today. That's all right. I'll plug him in. I think I've got... He doesn't use an iPhone jack. I think I've got a micro USB. I'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until we see you again.
Auxiliary power.
I forgot about that. I forgot I installed that on Wednesday. Yeah, that came in handy. It was well worth the $2,000.
There you go.
I'm now poor. I'm getting kicked out of here. It's your fault.
You're welcome. We'll see you later, guys.
Take care, guys. Deuces.
Peace.
Shut up and sit down.